Diet culture and toxic wellness trends can make you feel like you're at war with your own body, constantly doubting yourself and chasing impossible standards. But it doesn't have to be that way. I'm Kathy Salata, a recovered anorexia survivor and educator, and this is Freedom to Nourish. Each week we'll have real conversations, share stories, and give you tools to finally make peace with food and respect your body. No more food rules, no more body shame, just the freedom to be yourself again.
Hello and welcome to Freedom to Nourish. My name is Kathy Salata and I am joined today by Laura Chandler. I'm so honored to have her here with me today. She has an MA in counseling and is a spiritual healer and mindset coach who helps women break free from emotional eating and self-doubt so they can thrive in their life, their love, and their business. Having healed from several eating disorders herself, she now leads online emotional eating support groups where women find freedom, healing, and hope. And that is how I met Laura. And Laura, I believe all of us have adversity in our life. It's really our response to this adversity is what defines us. Can you share a little bit about your personal journey with eating disorders and how it shaped your work today?
Yeah, sure. Well, hello, everyone. I got to know Kathy because she was a guest speaker in the group that I run for emotional eating. And I mean, as you mentioned, Kathy, I had extensive adversity in my younger years, a lot of trauma, abuse, and I did not have the tools at the time to move through those difficult emotions of fear, depression, anxiety, sadness. So instead of working through my adversities in a healthy way, I basically self-destructed. It's not laughable, but it's so common, right? Like most of us have gone through something where we didn't have the tools and then we went and did some self-harm as a result. So I'm no different. I didn't deal with my father's anger well. I didn't deal with his addiction problems well. I didn't deal with my mother's chronic illness well, which she ended up passing away from. And so what I did was I hyperfixated on what I could control and finding a sense of worth and self-esteem with how I looked, which was a lot of pressure. Yeah, love to me didn't come easy. I mean, I felt like I had to battle my way to be good enough to get approval, love, et cetera, et cetera. And I use eating disorders basically as a means to do that.
Wonderful. And I can relate so much to that. It's interesting because people who don't know a lot about eating disorders or disordered eating don't realize at one point in your life, it served a purpose. And like you, I didn't have the tools to deal with difficult emotions, and to fixate on food was such a temporary release and allowed me to numb myself. So I can relate to that as well. What was the turning point for you to seek help and on your path to recovery?
Oh, well, actually, I didn't really start going on the healing path until I was probably like 10 years into active eating disorders and disordered eating. What happened was I started having really terrible binges on food, usually around nighttime. And I was hiding it in secrecy for a long time. But there came a point where it had been years of doing these binges, and I just would wake up and be so miserable and hate myself so much with the bloat and feeling like now I can't eat all day because I ate all that food last night. That the pressure of that, the torture of that was what catapulted me into finding answers and finding ways to break the cycle. I didn't have words for it at the time. I didn't even know I was in an active eating disorder, actually.
Thank you for being so open with that. I have felt that way too. And that was a turning point for me. I call it the morning hangover, the food hangover, where you just wake up and it's just dread. And it makes life so much harder, that going through that day is so much harder. And I think a lot of our listeners can relate to this as well, because many of our listeners may struggle with emotional eating. How do you define it? And can you share with us some signs how we're caught in that cycle?
Sure. Emotional eating, let's say when we're looking at it from the lens of it being harmful to us, because we can eat when we have emotions and it not be disordered and it not be harmful. Because you're a human, you have emotions all day long. You have to eat. So it's not an excuse, right? Like if you're happy, sure, eat. If you're sad, sure, eat. As long as you're eating because you're nourishing your body and that's what your body needs in the moment, emotions aside, it doesn't matter. But when we turn to food purely because of emotion, that's when it's harmful to us.
So insightful. And can you share with us some of the first steps someone can take if they notice that food has become more about comfort more than nourishment?
If someone is turning to food for comfort, I usually guide them to question, what are we seeking comfort from? So what is it? What's the trigger? Because once we know our trigger, we can better navigate that trigger in a healthy way.
Oh, that's, again, so insightful to see what is the origin? What is the root to this? Why are we seeking that comfort? And you describe yourself as a spiritual healer and a mindset coach. How do they work together in recovery and emotional eating?
All addiction is stemmed in the same pattern, which is not being able to emotionally regulate. Having intense emotions that we don't know how to deal with is like the root of all addictions. And I mean, I typically now, like I used to do a lot more of this coaching with people specifically on emotional eating. Now I just do it as more of a philanthropic endeavor. And I've gone more in the direction of helping people elevate who are already kind of healed from that situation. But really, it's the same across the board, because our lives are built upon our emotional responses and the way that we think about ourselves in the world.
Oh, that is, again, so much insight there. And are you finding that there's common mindset blocks that hold women back from freedom around food and self-acceptance?
Of course. There's several, and too extensive to go into in maybe this podcast, but let's just look at our self-image in terms of our self-concept, like our identity. Who do we think we are? It's a collection of thoughts we have about ourselves. So this is all mindset. But also the question is like pretty vast, but if we're looking at like the mindset piece, we have to critically look at the thoughts that we repetitively tell ourselves about ourselves in order to course correct and rewrite the script. Because we have the power. No one outside of us is going to tell us who we are. We tell ourselves who we are, and then we live from that place.
Oh, I love that. You're putting the power in our hands. And I know for myself, there was a lot of perfectionism, a lot of black and white thinking, and just unrealistic expectations of myself.
Yeah.
Can you share, what role does forgiveness toward yourself, toward others play in breaking free from these struggles?
Forgiveness is everything. In fact, that was probably the biggest catalyst for me to heal, was to forgive. First, I started forgiving the people in my life that I felt like caused me harm. I had to start there because we tend to like blame people when we're in pain. So I had to go there and I had to do forgiveness practices towards them, not with them, but towards them, like writing letters, getting it out, not sending the letters, but just getting out what's in there. There's nothing wrong with just getting out what's in there, seeing it clearly. But then that ended up transforming into me realizing that so much of my pain was rooted in me not forgiving myself.
Absolutely. Oh, wonderful. And you bring up another big part. Forgiveness doesn't mean you accept others' behavior if you're forgiving someone else, but you're acknowledging and you're no longer carrying that baggage. And forgiving yourself is such a big component of it.
Yeah.
Now, you've taken all of your knowledge and experience, and now you lead online support groups for women healing from emotional eating. What makes that group support so powerful compared to doing it alone?
Everything. Everything. Because we put a voice to the secrets.
So beautiful. And I relate to this so much because I remember running and running away from myself and from my unrealistic expectations. And my therapist and I worked together. And I remember when I actually dealt with those difficult emotions, it was like turning the light switch on and realizing the boogeyman is not as scary as I thought it was. We can handle so much more. We make our problems seem a lot bigger than they actually are, and we have so much power. I would love for you to share a success story. I know you can't share names of someone in your group who found freedom from that emotional eating and being stuck in that.
Yeah, we have one. So I've heard many stories over the years. I've been running this group for now 2 years, and then I was doing coaching around the same topic for like a year or two before that. So I've heard a lot of stories of transformation, but one I very notably saw. She first came to the group and she seemed like kind of closed off, kind of angry, really self-deprecating, and was even comparing herself to like people close to her, like around her, and always feeling very inadequate. And then over the years, she started coming very regularly. Over the years, it's like this softening happened. I just see that I've seen, and she's expressed it to me in the group as well, is just she feels so much more gentle with herself. She's doing practices because she loves herself and she wants to take good care of herself. It's no longer like, oh, I'm going to work out to be smaller. It's more like I'm working out because it makes me feel good, stress relief, or I'm eating healthy because it makes me feel calm and grounded, rather than all of these negative reasons she used to do it of trying to be enough. Now she's like, I am enough. I'm working on my self-love. I'm being gentle with myself in the process. And I'm doing these things because this is what feels good.
Oh,
That's the biggest transformation I think you can have on this journey.
yeah. And it's interesting how you share that you just noticed it in her demeanor, the way she was responding. And I have found for myself, the more gentle I am with myself and having those realistic expectations, I'm that way with others as well. Now, what can listeners expect if they joined your meetup group or sign up for a one-on-one coaching with you?
Good question. I think the biggest thing here is finding connection with yourself. I do not tell, and people who've done sessions with me will tell you, I do not tell you what to do. I'm not that sort of coach, healer, whatever, facilitator. I don't tell you what to do. I give you the space to discover a deeper connection within yourself, to find that deepening of compassion and forgiveness even, that allows you to tune in to your own guidance, to find clarity, and to move forward in whatever you do, whether that be in your eating, your exercising, whatever it is, your health-related goals, or just your life goals, from a place of empowerment, of trust, of knowing that you know the next steps that are best for you, and you can trust that. So that's what they would get. They would not get action steps. They would get a deeper integration with themselves.
Oh, that's wonderful. So, because what might work for you may not be helpful for me. And I love that you customize that approach.
Yeah, 100%.
And we live in this world of diet culture. So many people say, okay, once I lose the weight, then I'm going to do this, then I'm going to do that. How do you help clients shift that focus from weight to you're enough right now and that overall life fulfillment?
You don't need to believe that you're enough right now. first and foremost. You don't need to believe that. All you need to do, all you need to focus on is what do you need to feel your best in this very moment.
That is beautiful. And the next step will take care of itself, which takes care of the next step and the next.
How can you support yourself in this moment? How can you support yourself? That's all. That's all you have to focus on.
And in this world of diet culture, where there's a GLP-1, a pill for this, a pill for that, we've learned to distrust our bodies. How can we enrich women to trust their bodies again if they've spent years at war with them? What would be your recommendation?
It's a loaded question. There's a lot of nuance here. And when you have a lot of trauma, you're not very connected to your body, right? You disconnect, you go into your head, you start planning and strategizing how your life should look and what you should do, and you completely neglect what your body's signals are telling you. I always like to say, let's start really simple. If you feel like you want to find peace in yourself, in your body, let's just start at, are you thirsty? Do you need to use the restroom? Do you need to take a nap? Like, just tune into your energy in whatever moment, right? And ask yourself, what does my body need right now? It's bypassing all the inner chatter that we have.
Oh, that is I love that because it allows us to reflect. And when I was active in my eating disorder, I was so numb. I didn't know what my next step was. I didn't know if I was hungry. I didn't know if I was full. I had to learn hunger cues all over again. And I love that you take it. Are you sleepy? Are you thirsty? That's such a great perspective. Now, what is one mindset shift that listeners could start practicing today? What's something they could do right after this to get over that food and body obsession or that grip that it has on them?
You're asking for like one step or one tip?
What would be your first tip for someone who's just really struggling right now?
Ooh, not to be biased, but I would say, hey, if those are things that you're dealing with, come to my group.
Yeah.
That's tip number one. It's free. So there's nothing holding you back there. You can stay off camera if you want to. You can observe. Hear the stories, the real stories. I mean, the real, like we're honest to God people in there who have real lives, who are just sharing what's kind of been held in the dark for you. Because when you hear other women talk about these things, you're like, wow, I'm not alone. And it's not even just I'm not alone. You're not special. I mean, in this sense, you're not special. It actually is happening behind the scenes for a lot of women. And if you can just get into a support group, it's like it does a lot of healing just being in that space of hearing it for what it really is.
Absolutely. It is so true. I felt so isolated in my eating disorder and recognizing that there's other people. I was sad that they were going through it as well, but it is so comforting to know that you are not alone and that this is normal to have these feelings.
Oh, yeah.
Are there any daily rituals, affirmations, practices you would recommend for someone who wants to build peace around food and self-image?
So many. I've used so many in the past. I still use some to this day because whether we like it or not, we are still very much steeped in the culture of prioritizing appearance above like the things that really matter, which are your character, whether you have integrity, whether you have love for yourself. Like, we prioritize appearance over a lot of that when we are not fully feeling whole and complete within ourselves. So the rituals that I would use is, first of all, write out all of the things that you feel judgmental towards yourself. Like, let's put words to it. Like, let's get this out. Put that out and then flip it. right? Like flip those things. So I'll give you an example, Kathy. If I think that I am ugly, I have a lifetime of evidence that might reinforce that. Maybe this person said something or that person said something, whatever. I'm always just confirming my beliefs about myself. So I could write I'm ugly, and then if I flip it and I say I'm beautiful, I might not believe it. But that doesn't stop me from flipping it anyways. Because the beliefs you have, they're all made up anyways. So we're just practicing challenging the beliefs that hurt us into beliefs that may support us. Let's be curious. So that would be my first kind of like ritual if you're really steeped in bad body image or feeling like you're not enough with how you look, which might bring you into like these eating disorders and so forth. Let's just challenge the beliefs. Let's flip those.
That is so wonderful and such sage advice, just taking it. I love that you take something that's so monumental and something that I never thought I was going to recover from an eating disorder, because it's huge. It's a huge, expansive task. And I love that you break it down into moments. And it's those consistency showing up for those moments that makes the difference. Oh, I love that. And I appreciate your time here today. I'm going to put in the notes when we post this how to get in contact with you. But can you share if someone wanted to have a sign up for your meetup group or your coaching, how could they get a hold of you?
I'm sure you're going to put in the description the actual meetup group link. But if a listener doesn't see that for whatever reason, you can always email me and I'll send you the link. So my email is hello@liftedwithlaura.com. So hello@liftedwithlaura.com. Email me, I'll send you the link. We meet once a month on Sundays, so you can expect that. And if you wanted to inquire about coaching or book a session with me, you can also reach me at my website. It's liftedwithlaura.com, as I already spelled it. And there you can find a link to book a one-on-one session with me. I can work with people on body image and food. However, there's also a whole other kind of realm that I work with people in, which is taking them to the next level. So if you've healed from that already, but you want to elevate higher into your purpose, into finding your passion in life and living fully expressed with that I also work with people. So, it is my philosophy that once we heal our relationship with ourselves and our body, we're better able to fulfill our purpose here on earth, to live in our full self-expression. So it's kind of like different sides of the same coin.
Oh, what? And Laura, even your email, hello, that's so welcoming. And then Lifted with Laura. I felt when I was in my eating disorder that I was in quicksand and I was just I needed some help to get out. I couldn't do it on my own. And I thought I could do everything on my own. So, Laura, thank you so much for being here on Freedom to Nourish today. I am just honored and thrilled to have you part of this discussion. And I'm just so grateful to know you. Thank you so much.
Oh, same here. I'm so glad we met. And I look forward to more podcasts and having you back as a guest in the group, because you have so much wisdom to share. Oh. And this is only confirmation of that.
Thank you so much, Laura.
If you're ready to step into a kinder, fuller life, subscribe now and join me each week for Freedom to Nourish. Because your body deserves respect, your story deserves to be heard, and you deserve to live fully right now.